How's that? Can you see it? Oh.
Right. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Okay, we're back.
We are back. Welcome back. Hello, everybody. All right. So today we're going to be going through a part 2 of our last session. We had a lot of really great feedback and questions that inspired us to, kind of dive a little bit more deep into some labs and more hands-on stuff. So thank you for those questions last time. Also show that there was a lot of, I think, really valuable conversation around it. And yeah, we're excited to get into some more, real-world scripting use cases. And yeah, with that, we've got myself, Ryan, again, one of the hosts for today. And we've also got Nahuel back again, who's going to be helping with some of the labs and the scripting that we have. So, Nahuel, nice to see you again.
Yeah, hello Ryan. Hello everyone. I think that everyone pretty much knows me, but as the last time, I remind you that I'm part of the research team on Vicarious, and I'm basically in charge of making the scripting engine, the scripting library make growth and growth in quality and quantity. So yeah, that's why I'm here.
Yeah, sounds great. In charge of making everyone more secure with scripts.
Correct.
Cool. So yeah, topic overview again. We're pretty much expanding on the same topic from last time. So again, if you joined us last time, we talked about how using VRX we can deploy scripts and some of the different use cases and some of the different trends that we've seen. And this time we're going to be taking that same topic, but we're going to be emphasizing the hands-on demo. So we've got a few different labs and a couple different scripts that we want to highlight and show kind of the full process of how we can run those in our dashboard. If there are any questions, again, that was something that we really enjoyed last time, seeing some of the questions that you all had. So please, feel free to type those in, and we'll save some time at the end, and also continue the conversation in the LinkedIn comments, just as we did last time. And if you didn't join the webinar last time, we'll kind of recap some of the different things that we have with scripts in VRX. So a little bit of an overview of that. We've got several different types of scripts in the platform, and we're going to be highlighting a few from each sort of category. So those can be operational things, they can be security things. That's definitely a very large emphasis of what we're going to be doing, is trying to detect and mitigate different configuration-based vulnerabilities. But there are tons of different areas where these scripts can really help you to automate some of the things that can be pretty difficult, especially in the really highly distributed environments that we see very often today, with multiple sites, multiple locations in the cloud, work from home. So having a centralized place to access a repository, run those remotely, get a really fast response, and make sure that these things are being applied properly, so you can carry on with other tasks. X strategy. So this is something that's relatively new, and Nahuel's going to show us a really great demo of that. But basically what this is going to allow us to do is kind of chain together some different scripts and help us solve some more advanced use cases, which is something that, again, came up in the kind of follow-up questions from the last webinar that we had. So we're definitely really excited to show that one. And I've mentioned it a few times already, but yeah, we're going to be spending a lot of time not in PowerPoint, but in a demo. So I think that's something that everyone will want to see. So yeah, with that, let's carry on. So we just talked about some of the different script types, and just kind of going through those here. And I just realized this is in the way. There we go. So there's 3 different categories or main categories. There's the ops scripts, which are operational scripts. So, something to deploy a new piece of software or enforce a, some sort of standard configuration or something like that. So it's not necessarily tied to a CVE like a detection or remediation script might be, but rather something that is just kind of a day-to-day sysadmin sort of task, something along those lines.
I think that it's important about what's most important about EdSops is that there is a lot that comes to the deal when it's talking about automation on performance auditing, on hardware auditing, on software auditing, even when it's about making your system compliance to different standards. So the goal of EdSops is just to make your life easier. That's the whole point.
Yeah, we definitely want to make everyone's lives a little bit easier with this. But that's a really great point. Getting inventory, getting a device's warranty status, or getting its battery health, or seeing what services are stopped, and all of these things that they might not be directly related to vulnerability management, but they are things that you have various needs for getting that type of data. So so that's kind of what the XOps scripts are all about. Detection and remediation scripts, on the other hand, they are kind of 2 phases of the same goal, which is finding and fixing vulnerabilities. And the detection is going to be the finding component of that, while remediation is of course fixing it. So a detection script will help you to check to see if you are running a configuration that might be vulnerable. You're missing a registry key. You're running an older version of SMB, perhaps. Maybe you want to change something. With your print spooler, like for Print Nightmare. There's all sorts of different security scripts that we have, and the first part of that planning phase is detecting where you have that risk present, where you're vulnerable to that, so that you can effectively remediate it. So once we run the detection scripts, the platform will basically inform you that you are running a vulnerable configuration or you're not, and you're good to go. And then at that point, you can run a remediation script, which will allow you to apply that change, which will remove the vulnerable configuration and get you to a place where that vulnerability is no longer exploitable or no longer present on the device, and thus kind of closing that whole loop.
Yeah, and this, as Ryan said, this came in a pack. These are a duo that work together. You will be first running your edge detection to check your misconfiguration, and then you can trigger your edge remediation. So all these CVEs that you usually see on our different LinkedIn posts on CVE of the week and all, you will find them on VRX, and you will find them at edge detection and edge remediation. That's what these twins do.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing to note too, and we've seen this from time to time, is you can just run an X remediation script. You don't necessarily have to run that detection component, but it does allow you to kind of decouple those processes and plan it out a bit more. Sometimes you just want to respond very quickly, and that's the name of the game, is getting that vulnerability removed as quick as possible. And some vulnerabilities that I think will lend itself to a little bit better, in the sense that it won't be as invasive to the user. It won't be something that is going to affect user operations or server operations, critical services and different applications that need to run for the business. you might just want to go and run a remediation. And a lot of those have a check phase built in, so they won't, basically an if statement or something like that, where if the configuration is missing that resolves the vulnerability, it'll go ahead and apply it. So so there is some additional checking that's built into that, and you can just go straight to a remediation. But having the detection gives you the ability to kind of plan that out a little bit more. So you do have both options available. So what is the Vicarious approach to this? Some of the different categories and X strategies, and we've been adding a lot of scripts to the dashboard, and we want to really make that much more scalable. And as we're adding more scripts, making sure that we can search for them and find them and tag them. There's a point where once we have so many scripts in the library, which it's again growing all the time thanks to Noel's effort and vSociety and some of the other things that we're doing. We want to make sure that you can find the scripts that you need very effectively. So we've got kind of subcategories, configuration, software, both deployment, uninstallation. We can see some of these represented, in this image here. Auditing, MITRE ATT&CK framework, both blue team and red team, and then of course all of the different security scripts that we've been talking about. Not just the X detection and X remediation, but also system hardening. Making sure password policies are in place, or checking how long ago a user since the last time they reset their password. So these are all different types of things that we can do, and kind of grouping them to make this a very user-friendly experience.
Oh,
Noel,
that was just a great explanation, just in point. I don't have much to say. This is, as Ryan said, this is not only organizational. It's not only for organization. It's also a way for us to tell our clients, to tell our users what's ahead. So you know that there is system hardening at subcategory. So you know that that's one of our focus. You know that there is an incident response, a security configuration, or driver configuration, update configuration. You will be able to find all kinds of scripts, and this is not our limitation. This is what we are actually aiming to do. So yeah, we have the MITRE framework that we aim to create scripts that aim to perform not only blue team strategy, not only blue team solutions to the different techniques that are specified there, but there is also red team scripts that we are developing, going to allow us to expand the PRX use cases. So yeah. That's pretty much it. That we have categories and we have subcategories, and this is what is going to allow us to organize to perform a better search on our more than 400 scripts.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think with that, we can hop right over to the dashboard. Like you said, didn't want to spend too much time in the deck today, since we kind of talked about it a little bit last time and just showed a couple screenshots. But I think everyone would like to see a demo. So Noel, you want to take it away?
Yeah, great. Well, what we are going to do right now is just a showcase. We're going to just try to pan around and look around what we have here in the scripting in Shine. So first of all, you see that we have more than 400 scripts, as I say, on the public library. This is the public section. But we also have the possibility to upload, to create your own scripts on the My Script section, and also to try different things, to try different scripts on the draft section. So we have a really a complete way to provide you to not only bring yourself the script that you have on the public library, but to create your own and to test your own. So this is the three sections, and if we start exploring the public section, we will find that there is a lot of scripts, as I said. But let's, for example, start exploring the first one. This is a bsociety CVE script that is linked to a CVE, actually a really recent one. We had a lot of bsociety scripts. We can see that every bsociety CVE that are related to a EDS remediation or an EDS detection that we can see here on this tag, they are all related, they are all linked to a CVE. So we can come here, for example, and you don't have to, I don't know, just select and then execute it. You don't have to believe that this is actually what it does. You can come here, read the description, read what it does, and you can actually see all the script, all the code, and you can even edit it. You can come here, copy as my script. You can, when you copy this as your script, you will have it on the my script section, and it will be identical to the one that you had on the public section. And you can come here and you can edit the script, the same script that you had on the public library, on the public section. You can edit it here. You can add whatever you want, change some values or whatever, and you can save it, and you will have it on the sorry, on the public library, on the
I think,
sorry, on the MyScript section.
yeah, on the
Yeah,
MyScripts. Yeah, I think that's a really important thing to highlight because you know, we're providing these scripts, but everyone's environment could be slightly different. So, you know, we're working with hundreds of different customers who maybe they're using the same application that is affected by the same vulnerability, but they're using it in slightly different ways. So one script that we provide that's works in a very broad set of environments might not work in their specific the way that they're using it. So having that as a starting point that you can go in, you can see what it's doing and say, oh, well, hey, I know we're using so-and-so service. So maybe I need to make this modification to work around that or work around some other policy that's in the environment. It still does give you that starting point, and it's built into the same ecosystem as your vulnerability management tool. And that also means that it's, you know, these are approved, they're trusted. It's not like you're going out to have to search some other repository, you know, a Stack Overflow or a GitHub or something where, you know, you're not so sure of the validity of that. You know, maybe you have to do some additional testing, which again is more effort, slows you down. Here you have something that's been validated by our team or created by our team in a lot of cases, and it gives you a really great starting point to kind of build off of, or in a lot of cases just run it as is. But you do have that flexibility and that option, which I think is very important.
totally. Yeah, so we are going to perform a quick create new script demonstration, but first we are going to talk about how we can filter and search these scripts, because there is more than 400 scripts. So it's really, really hard if you want to find a specific CVE that perform a, I don't know, a hardening configuration or a threat detection or incident response, and you are going to search on all these scripts, and you're going to have a hard time. So first of all, the first filter you can do is to search on the EDS detection. For example, you can filter the EDS detection if you don't want to perform anything that is too invasive on your system. You can choose perform EDS detection scripts, or you can go, as Ryan said before, that you want to do a quick response to the different CVEs, different vulnerabilities. You can go directly to the EDS remediation or EDS ops, that are the scripts that perform operational tasks. So this is the first filter. Then you can filter for CVE. If you are looking for a trending CVE that we should recently publish or something like that, you can filter the CVE. The operating system family, Windows, Linux, Mac, those are the systems that are supported by VRX. The script tags, and this is the interesting part, because I should show you that we have categories and we have subcategories, and it's really cool, but you won't remember them. So let's be honest, you won't remember them. So we have the advanced search right here on the right side of the filters, and we have this really nice side section that will display that you have here the different categories: security, configuration, audit, software, VRX, that are the scripts or the subcategories that are directly related to our agent, MultiGPT, is our AI, and its strategies. I will go into that later, and Mitre. Okay, so you have the categories, you have the subcategories here. You can start making a more precise filter, like I only want the script that come from the Vicarious team member, the Vicarious research team. So you click here, you click at SOCs, and you start searching for security configuration scripts, or you want incident response because you had an attack and you want to see what VRS can you offer to help you solve the problem, or you want to make, for example, update configuration. There is a lot of scripts that are really useful. Our clients, for example, love this one, the Windows 11 upgrade scripts to update your system from Windows 10 to Windows 11. And if you click here, you will see that this script specifically is file dependent. And again, you can download the script. You will see that I just download the script, and you can see the code. You can modify it if you need it. So again, you don't. This is not a blind. You don't have to blindly trust us on these scripts. You can review the code. You can change the code. You can make your own. So yeah, these are just our solutions that we provide to you, and you have completely freedom to play with them. So yeah, we have different categories, as I was saying. For example, get and list. You will have a lot of scripts to make information on retrieval, to list pseudo version, service info status, background activity details. Just mentioning some, a hardware audit. That's something that our clients love a lot. Also, you can perform hardware inventory and software audit to perform some software inventory also. Yeah, just mentioning some. Maybe we can now create a new script to see how that goes. Let's go demo live script, something like that. When you create a new script, you will see that the source is completely different from any other source. If you want to create an edge detection, edge remediation, or maybe if you want to add an edge sub, you can go to this society and upload it, and it will, when it's approved and reviewed, it will be on our public library. But if you want to only have a script for your team, for your dashboard, you can come here and you will see that the source will be user from VRX. You can write the title for it. You can set your tags if you want to maybe perform security hardening, or I don't know, a network work. And you can start creating your tags, make a description, the script for live demo, and you're gonna start creating code. You can start just developing, and you can work with Batch, CMD, PowerShell. So you can, I don't know, create your hello world, hello world, and you can create on Bash code also. So you can come here and say, I don't know, echo, and again, hello world. And same thing with Bash, because it's the same in Mac. So you can create your script, you can save it. Let's save it. And once it's saved, you will see it on your My Script section, and you will be able to see that here it is. It says that it has code for Windows, for Linux, for Mac, and we will be able to run it. So That's it. That's okay, right?
Just a quick point there. Yeah. So what's nice about being able to add all languages for all three different operating systems there in a single package basically is let's say you were targeting a group of assets that has multiple operating systems in it. As long as the script here, as Noel just showed, with has one for each OS, the platform will automatically see which one is appropriate for the target machine and choose that one and run it. So you can manage them separately if you choose to. Not everything is going to be appropriate for each operating system. Meaning, one vulnerability might only affect Windows and not Linux or Mac or vice versa. But if you did want to perform something like Noel just showed there with a very simple, sort of hello world, let's say that there was a real world example that we wanted to run it on all three, we could just add them to that same package, run it against any of our asset groups, regardless of what operating system they have, and the platform will sort of sort it out for you.
Yeah, let's do a quick demonstration. For example, this script, it's called get and list service info status, and let's select it. Let's go to next. We can do a quick review before executing it, before running it. We can review the description. For example, it says that it provides detailed information on services such as name, process ID, state and status. And we see that it's a really, at least on Linux, is a really, really easy command. And we can download it and check it on Windows. So as Ryan was saying, we can come here to the asset name and the asset selection, and we can say, okay, I don't know, let's select this one and this one, that is a Linux machine. So we have Windows and Linux, a Linux system, Ubuntu and Windows 10, and you will see that I have the possibility on this script to run it on Linux and Windows. So that's something that is good to always check, to check that we are executing it on the right systems. But we will see that VRX will automatically decide and recognize that this is a Linux system, so it will run on the Linux command, and on the Windows will be running the PowerShell command. So yeah, this is Ryan. It will take a few seconds, just because it has to send the action to the agent. So in the meantime, we can talk about some good example, good scripts that have been useful to our clients. You wanna talk about any example, Ryan?
Yeah, there's quite a few. I want to talk about a few things really. There's the CV of the week. I want to kind of talk about that initiative a little bit, and the selection process for the CVE of the week, and how we're creating different scripts around that. And then there's several other operational ones we can highlight, but maybe we can start off with CVE of the week.
Yeah. Where is it? This is the one.
Yeah.
43451. So yeah, as Ryan was saying, we every week on the research team we find a CVE vulnerability that is trending, that our clients are worried about, and we develop a script that detects and remediates that vulnerability. So this time the trouble came with 2024 43451. This was a really trending vulnerability because it was also similar to a 0-day that was really trending. I think Zero Patch made the discover. So do you want to say anything in particular about this script?
Yeah, so I mean, this is one that I believe Microsoft had said that they won't have an official patch for until around April. as Noel just mentioned, it's pretty similar to, so it's basically an NTLM relay attack where the credentials can become exposed if exploited. So yeah, pretty serious. Can open up some other attack vectors once those credentials are leaked, and would kind of be a nightmare to quarantine and triage should that happen. So obviously sitting around on our hands until April is not really something that we want to do. So yeah, this is part of the reason why we've highlighted this one as CV of the week for this week. This is the latest. Actually, just a couple days ago was when it was officially released. So this is something that we had in the platform quite quickly following that announcement, and yeah, something that people can go and use in their environment today in order to see if they are vulnerable to that, remediate it. It's something that is not going to cause any service disruptions in their environment. Of course, we do recommend testing it out in maybe a test environment before pushing it to production. But yeah, being able to apply that very quickly instead of having to wait until April, I think is going to be a pretty big advantage for a lot of folks trying to that they might be concerned about this vulnerability, which we've already heard it in some of the recent demos I've been doing with customers, some of the recent POCs. This has definitely been one that there's some questions around. So yeah, certainly worth taking a look into if you're running any Windows systems in your environment, which I suspect is a lot of environments out there. Noel, maybe you want to talk about like the specific components in the script a little bit further?
Yeah. Well, our goal always when I work with the Bit Society researchers or when I make these scripts of the week myself is to always provide a way to remediate the vulnerability, to mitigate it without patching. This is our goal always, because if you have the ability to patch, you're going to use VRX patch management. You are not, or you're going to update your system, you're not going to use these scripts. These scripts are when you are not able to patch. You're not able to get your systems down for an update, to reboot them. So the goal with these scripts is always to mitigate without patching. This is when patching is not enough anymore. So, for example, there is this scripts, this script that is a detection script. I can maybe change a bit the title to make it a bit short, and you will see is the NTON hash detection script, and we will see that it checks for a register. It will see if it is enabled, and if it is, you will be told that you are vulnerable to this CVE. So yeah, let's run it. Let's run it and test it and see if my machines are vulnerable to this CVE. Let's go with this one. Let's execute it. And maybe we can see the result on the get on list. Yeah. And as you saw before, this is a bit messy, this one, but this is Linux one, and this is a Windows one, and you can see that in both scripts it was able to provide the output without me specifying, yeah, hey, this is a Linux machine, so run this code, or this is a Windows, or run the PowerShell code. I didn't have to do any of that. I just selected the script, selected the asset that I want to execute them, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, okay, this is an important thing to do. If you are going to copy a script, always do select PowerShell, because it won't know what to do. Let's go again.
Yeah, and you can see that these results are coming in pretty quickly. It does take a couple minutes, like Noel mentioned earlier, for everything to load in to send the instruction file to the machine to kick off the job. But if anyone has used something like Intune scripts before, I think they'll be quite pleasantly surprised to see how fast these are. It's typically a matter of minutes versus using something we hear quite often. And I have my own personal experience in the past with Intune, and you're never quite sure if it's going to be a couple hours or maybe even longer in some cases. So yeah, it's great that we were able to see that pretty quickly. Another thing too, while Noel is running this in the background here, so we saw that output there. Now, of course, we can refine that down. Maybe there's some key services that you would want to search for there. Maybe you don't want to see every single service, just a few key ones, let's say. So we could do that and just get the relevant data. Another thing that we can do is using the automation component in the platform is we can send out a report, and that report is going to have that full output of whatever the script returned on the machine. So not just whether or not it succeeded or failed, but what is the actual output, which will allow you to have a better understanding and create different workflows and just kind of track things. So that's another very important component there. But Noel, I see you're clicking around here. So can you explain what's going on? What have you been doing? And let's see what we've got.
Yeah, it's just run the detection script that we had on this CVE of the week, and you can see that this machine has NTLM authentication enabled, so it's vulnerable to this CVE. So I just run the remediation script. It's going to take maybe a minute. You saw that the detection just run really quick, so the remediation is going to take the same. But yeah, that's mostly the process. You run the detection script. I should run it on one of my assets, but you can create a group of assets and then run an automation on all of them and check the output and just run maybe the script if they are vulnerable or if they are if they have a high priority on your team. So yeah. Let's see if it's over. It's still in waiting. Sometimes it takes time because the agent has to perform other tasks. But I think we were going to talk about some other scripts. For example, we have a really good ones on sudo users. For example, this one. There is a lot of cases that when an attacker gets inside our systems, they manage to create a pseudo user because they need to generate persistence. They want to get in our systems and they don't want to leave. So one of the things that you can do on an incident response tag, when you detect that you were compromised, you can select this script and go and run it on your, for example, this virtual machine of Ryan, and we can run it, and you will be able to detect if there is any unusual or don't wanted pseudo user. So
I think we even have another one that has a timestamp to see when they were added to the pseudo group. So in that incident response scenario, maybe we have a window of when we started seeing some suspicious behavior, and we want to see if a user was added to that pseudo group. So yeah, that's definitely a use case that could come in handy.
Yeah. So this script is taking longer than I want, and I will desire. So I have the output right here from a previous run that I did earlier, and we can see that what it does is just disable the NTLM authentication. So yeah, that's the process. You select your script, you select the detection one, you check if your assets are compromised or are vulnerable to this vulnerability, and then our user will run the remediation, and you won't have this need of turn off your device or stop your operation just because you have this vulnerability. You have the option to run this mitigation and yeah, and don't worry anymore. And yeah, on the script that leads to the users, we see that we have Ryan. So yeah, Ryan, you're not compromised.
It's good to know.
Okay. Well, I don't know how much time we have left. I think I have spoke on everything. Maybe I'm forgetting something, Ryan.
I think those were some of the main examples. A couple of other ones that came to mind that we wanted to highlight, just have kind of come up in our conversations with customers recently. Windows 11 upgrade. Maybe Noel, you can showcase some of those Windows 11 upgrade scripts that we have.
Yeah, you
in
can
Dashboard.
upgrade your feature upgrade from 22H2 through 24H2, or you can upgrade your system from Windows 10 to Windows 11. Yeah, you have a lot of other scripts for updating. What else? We have pre-detection scripts for log4 files. Security network script for making configurations, getting information on your firewall, Windows Defender. Just mentioning some.
Yeah, one of the questions that I mentioned earlier that this kind of got inspired by some of the questions that we had last time. So one of the specific ones that stood out was around TLS 1.0 and 1.1 vulnerability that affected I think it was the SanDisk, some sort of SanDisk utility, I think. And so yeah, this is something that we can use in kind of conjunction with the inventory that VRX provides. Understanding which applications are running on the device, which versions. Now we can check that and say, okay, well, we have a version that could have that vulnerability, but we don't know if it's necessarily implemented in an exploitable way. But we have one piece of the puzzle. We know we can potentially have it. So let's then go run an X detection script and see if we are running a vulnerable configuration. And if that comes back that we are, we know that we both have the application implemented in a way that can be exploitable. So we need to take action at that point, and that's when we can pivot to a remediation script, which I think Noel is highlighting one here with some SSL and TLS hardening that we have in the dashboard, which is going to, I believe, enforce SSL 1.2, if I'm not mistaken, or at least it looks like it disables 1.0 and 1.1. So that would be a valid mitigation. Of course, there might be a patch for that SanDisk utility. They may have some other mitigation by now that's I believe from 2023. So that may be something where you want to perform both of those, because TLS 1.0 and 1.1 could open you up to other vulnerabilities in applications. So it's kind of these sweeping mitigations that have can have a very pinpoint effect, as well as a broader system hardening effect as well.
Okay, and yeah, the reason why we always recommend or suggest that you run first an X detection or a check script is because the scripts that don't do checking or don't do information retrieval, they will most likely change something on your system. So if you're going to perform, for example, SSL and TLS hardening, you will be seeing changes on your system. So you don't know if these changes will affect your configuration, your operation. So we suggest and recommend always choose things. First, run a check script first, and second, run it on a test lab. We always recommend run these scripts on a test lab, because you don't know how this will affect your operations. We test them. We check that these scripts are don't do anything malicious. For example, the ones that come from the vSociety community, we always check the code. We check that they perform what they say that they are going to perform, but they always change something on your system. So always run it on a test lab.
Yeah, absolutely. That goes with pretty much anything. We of course, just again to echo that, we can test the validity of the script, but it's difficult for us to check every single test that would validate it in a specific production environment. So yeah, that's always a best practice. Well, cool.
So
We're coming up to the. We got about 15 or so minutes left here. For everyone that's joined and stuck with us so far, thank you. We hope that you've enjoyed and learned a little bit more about the Vicarious scripts, the new X strategies, how we can kind of chain them together and solve some configuration-based vulnerabilities. And yeah, I want to open up the floor for any questions and see how we can help more.
yeah, let's wait a few minutes. Maybe someone was saving the question for the last time. As I was saying, I think that what our clients really enjoy more about these scripts is that it's about expanding VRX use cases. It's about having the ability to perform inventory on your hardware or your software, to perform performance auditing on your system, your CPU, your RAM or whatever. So
disk space, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's about expanding VRX use cases. It's about that it's patching is not enough anymore. We're in 2024, about to get into 2025, and time has changed a lot. Patching is good. Please patch your systems, but it's not enough anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. On that note, the NTLM vulnerability that we highlighted while we're just waiting for questions here, there was another recent exploit of that, the Petit Potam exploit a while back. So another one that required a configuration change. So just kind of goes to show you that these vectors are being used over and over again, and new vulnerabilities are coming out that kind of highlight that patching is not enough statement. Very important, but not the silver bullet. We need to make sure we're covering some other areas as well. While we're giving a few more minutes for questions here too, so we talked about running the native languages in the platform, but Noel, maybe you can talk about with running something like a Python script, how we can do that in the dashboard, and maybe if you have any use cases in mind for that.
Yeah, that's a really, really good question, because there is a lot of clients that already have their own scripts, and they come to us and they have like Python scripts or VBS scripts, and they are like, okay, it's good to be able to run PowerShell, but even with AI, sometimes translating one script to another language can be really a hash, a really hard to do. So yeah, if you have the possibility to install an interpreter on your system, for example, Python is pre-installed on most of Linux, modern Linux distributions. So if you have a Debian, for example, or Ubuntu, you have Python 3. So yeah, you can go to our console to VRX, create a new script, and choose write Python 3 on before the name of the script. You can upload it. You can upload your own file, your own Python file, and then choose run Python 3, your file name, and you will be able to run Python. Same with VBS script. You can run CES script. I think is the command, and upload your VBS script, and you will be good to go. So yeah, that allow us to expand the amount of languages that we can run.
Yeah, so that's definitely something that we've seen used also for application deployment. The process is very similar. we would basically upload the file. Again, it could be a Python script, it could be an executable, it could be an MSI that we're using to push out an application. We would upload that to the Vicarious dashboard. It gets attached to the script. We would then pretty much invoke that. So it's going to download it to the machine, run it alongside any sort of additional arguments that you might add. It could be a license key, it could be a specific installation path or a silent install or whatever the flags and switches and things that you want to add. But it's basically just going to download that to the machine, execute it with those rules. And that's just another way that gives you a little bit more flexibility and extends the use cases a little bit further. Just helps you get some more value out of VRX as well.
And speaking a bit more on BioSociety, if you have your own scripts, or if you like scripting, you like writing about, I don't know, PowerShell or Bash, and you have your own scripts on your company, and you like to see them on the public library of the VRX, so you can just go right now, and you will find 3 types of scripts. You will find that there is an edge ops, edge detection, and edge remediation. You will be able to write your code there, provide the title, the description, link it to a CVE, submit it, and I will review it, and you will be going to see it soon on our public library. So yeah, if there is anyone out there that loves scripting as much as I do, as much as we do on the company, you will be able to upload your own scripts.
Yeah, and if it's something that you are just interested in learning more, it's also a good resource to go and look at some of the scripts that we already have and try to understand what they're doing and read about them. And there's also a lot of research there that isn't necessarily script related. A lot of it is related to scripts, but just general vulnerability research that we post there and members post there. So even if you don't have anything in mind that you want to contribute, it's a great place to just go and learn some more about some of the things people in the security community are doing.
Yeah, maybe you're not using VRX, but you can use these scripts for your own sake. So yeah, we aim for BioSociety to be a place where researchers and IT security guys can upload their scripts and maybe use them after portfolio, because I have to say that BioSociety has a really nice aesthetic design. So I think it's really good to have on your portfolio if you like scripting.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, I don't see any questions, but I think we can kind of wrap things up here. If you do have any questions, we can continue the conversation on LinkedIn or anywhere else that you're joining from today. Please share any questions that you have there. We'd really love to hear them. Thank you again for joining. Hopefully everyone has a great 2025 soon here. I know it's the end of the year, so the people that did join holidays, end of the year, it's always chaotic, so we especially appreciate that. And looking forward to the next edition of the Vicarious webinars. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Brian. Bye-bye.